Global singer and actor Meat Loaf has died at the age of 74. His Bat Out of Hell album was one of the best-selling records of all time. The Grammy winner, born Marvin Lee Adai, played Eddie in the Rocky Horror Picture Show and sold more than 100 million albums worldwide. The cause of death is not being made public by his family. Let's talk now to David Sinclair. He's a music journalist. He joins us from London. David, good to talk to you again. Was he as theatrical, was he as emotional in real life as he was when he was on stage?
He was, yes. I had the pleasure of interviewing him in the 90s, just around the time that his second Bat Out of Hell album, Bat Out of Hell, the sequel as it were, came out and surprised everyone by being a huge success and being very good as well. And he was a study in himself. He was a character. I mean, Meat Loaf obviously was a nom de stage. It was his stage name, but it was a character that he inhabited. Absolutely larger than life, and big in all departments.
But he was a perfect fit, wasn't he, with the music written for him. Jim Steinman wrote a lot of the Bat Out of Hell album, and he performed as well with Cher in the same vein of music. So that was a perfect fit. But oddly, at a time when that album was released, I think it was 76, 77, punk rock was huge, the new romantic movement was coming in, but there was still a place for 8-9 minute long singles tracks being played on national broadcasters because there was still an appetite there, and the appetite went with children, parents, mums and dads. Everybody liked the music.
Yes, absolutely. He was a force of nature, and he swam against the tide pretty much the whole of his professional life, you know, because when the second Bat Out of Hell album came out, grunge was just starting up, you know, and it was, again, a very unfashionable sort of sound for the period. But he was just a law unto himself. He always was. And I think a lot of that stemmed from an unhappy childhood that he had. You know, his mother died when he was 18, his dad beat him up a lot. And I think he was forever proving himself to the world that he was bigger than all of them, and he could survive, and he could swing against any tide, and that was his part of his appeal. I think that's what resonated with people. You know, that they would go to the shows, and he would put on this rampaging performance in defiance, as it were, of everybody else, and that was part of his appeal, really.
Very, very briefly, David, because we're going to hit the sports news any second now. If you had to tag one track by Meat Loaf for somebody who isn't aware of his music, what would that track be?
Well, I guess Paradise by the Dashboard Light was always the one that I remembered, the very dramatic kind of, where he had him and Ellen Foley did an incredible sort of duet there, a double-hander. And I guess, but you know, Bat Out of Hell, they were all big songs. They were he left a very big mark.
David, thank you very much. David Sinclair there, music critic and columnist, talking to us from London.